Have you ever caught yourself sweating the small stuff only to realize you really overlooked what's most significant? Well, if that's you, you are not alone. And today, here on Time to Win podcast, we're going to meet in the locker room of life and we're going to get a game plan together that will help us avoid sweating the small stuff. We're going to learn how to reset our mindset for peace of mind. So don't go nowhere. We're about to dive in deep. Welcome to Time to Win podcast. It's not just a podcast. It's the official personal growth locker room of life where champions just like you gather to cultivate their courage, create a life-changing game plan of success, and celebrate their wins. I'm RJ Jackson, your personal growth coach and host, and I'm committed to seeing you win. As a professional speaker and growth coach for over 3 decades, I've worked with and inspired thousands to grow their greatness and transform their setbacks into a comeback. And now it's your turn. It's time to win. So if you're ready, grab something to take notes with. We're about to dive in. Let's go fight win. Hello, you wonderful soul, and welcome to another enlightening episode of Time to Win podcast. I'm your host, RJ Jackson, and I'm delighted that you're joining us today. Thank you. Gracias. We appreciate you, my friend. Listen, welcome and welcome back if you've joined us before here in the locker room of life. Now, if you ever found yourself caught up in the trivial matters of life, like causing unnecessary tension, sweating the small stuff, don't worry, boo. I got you. Today, we're going to explore the pitfalls of obsessing over life's minor details and how that can really divert our attention from what truly matters most. But first, let me let you know that today's episode is brought to you by The Cure for Women at thecureforwomen.com, where you heal, grow, and belong. That's The Cure for Women at thecureforwomen.com. If you have ever caught yourself sweating the small stuff, majoring in the minor, girl, we are looking out for you. And today, we're going to help you look at the big picture. We're going to help you face that giant that keeps not just you, but all of us focusing on the small stuff in life. You know, those moments where we worry about everything. You know, those moments that keep us living in the past or so far ahead of ourselves in the future that we can't enjoy the moment. And in the end, we don't win. Yeah, girl. We're going to once again do some deep diving, and we're going to dive into the art of living in the moment so that we don't find ourselves sweating the small stuff. So, if you don't already have it, girl, go grab your pen and paper because you are going to want to take notes. As Dr. Richard Carlson once wisely said, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. It's easy. It's easy to get caught up in the trivial matters of life, causing unnecessary tension. I mean, we get caught up, but why? Why do we sweat the small stuff? Why is it that we don't focus on what we say matters most? Is it human nature? Or is it societal pressure? Or is it a manifestation of our fears? Well, let's get into it. And let's discover what keeps us with our eyes on the problem instead of the prize. Let's talk about the importance of shifting our focus so that we can focus on what matters most. So I don't mind if you get in the comments and let me know what you think. Share your thoughts with me. Matter of fact, I love it and I appreciate it. And if you're not able to get in the comments, you can always email us at timetowinpodcast@gmail.com. That's timetowinpodcast@gmail.com, because we love to know your thoughts. We love receiving your letters, your feedback, and your reviews. So keep them coming and don't be afraid to let us know what you're thinking. But I'm going to tell you right now what I think. I think one of the reasons why we get so caught up in sweating the small stuff, because it's our nature. It's just human nature. Like, we allow the small things to annoy us and those issues that we can't do anything about to grab our attention, which leads us to overthinking, stressing, and worrying about minor things. Like Jim Rohn once said, we major in the minor. I also believe that the pressure that is put on us from society, especially now with social media, to be perfect and to achieve and to do it right and to look a certain way, also causes us to have a tendency to focus on the small stuff. Like, is my hair okay? Are they going to like what I'm wearing? Oh, why is she looking at me? The small stuff, right? We fear that any imperfection that we have will be largely noticed. So we focus on it no matter how trivial it might be. We make it a big, gigantic production that requires our full attention. And while we're doing that, we're missing what matters most. And then there's that lack of perspective. Sometimes we lose sight of the bigger picture and we find ourselves stressing and full of anxiety. We hyper focus on the small details because they kind of make us feel like we can manage things. We're in control, even if they aren't the most important aspects of our lives. It makes us feel good. So we focus on it. Like, have you ever lost an hour in your day and then spent the rest of the day looking for it? Like, you started scrolling, next thing you know, it's like an hour or two have passed, and then you sit there for another hour going, man, what did I do? What was I doing? What was I thinking? You weren't thinking. That's why you were doing it. But now you're overthinking it. And that's why you're worried about what you were thinking about instead of getting up and being about your business. Perspective. Losing sight of the big picture. If that's you, listen, I promise you, you're not alone. We've all been there. And some of us are even there right now. And if we aren't there right now, we're knocking on the door to get there because of our nature, the pressure, and a lack of perspective. But I do want you to know this. You don't have to stay there. And if you're on your way, girl, you don't even have to go there. You can make a U-turn right now. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because shifting our focus to what truly matters is essential for so many reasons. Let me give you a few. When we focus on what really matters, we enhance our well-being. When we concentrate on what's most important, we experience less stress and less anxiety and more peace and more happiness and more contentment. when we got our eyes on the prize. We also find fulfillment and purpose when we prioritize what matters most, because this helps lead us to a purposeful life. It allows us to set meaningful goals and values and offers a sense of direction and fulfillment. Looking for happiness? Stop focusing on the small stuff. And then it also builds stronger relationships for us. When we shift our focus from the small to the significant matters in life, we build meaningful connections. We have shared experiences with our loved ones, and this can strengthen our relationship by promoting open communication, genuine bonding, and creating a support system in the time of need. And we need each other to survive. We need each other to remind us, let that go, leave that alone. You can't do nothing about that. Move on, boo. When we shift our mindset and focus on what matters most, we can achieve our goals, because we allow our energy and our time to the activities and aspirations that hold the most significance. And this, my friend, this increases our chances of reaching our personal and our professional goals, finding success in the areas that give our life meaning. So you're probably wondering, I know what you're saying is true, RJ, but I just can't get my human nature to shift natures, and I just can't get my perspective to be on point, and it's so much pressure of having to do it a certain way. I don't know the way to take to avoid sweating the small stuff. So RJ, how do I do it? That's why I'm glad you're here. That's why I'm glad I'm here, because we're going to learn together. We're going to grow together. We're going to do this thing together, girl, because you are not alone. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share with you 3, maybe 4. You know I like giving you a bonus, right? But I'm going to share with you at least 3 practical ways to help you avoid sweating the small stuff and focus on the significant things that matter most in life. All right, what's the first thing we could do? It's all about resetting our mindset, because when we reset our mindset and avoid focusing on the small stuff, we produce peace. And there's nothing, my friend, like peace. The peace that surpasses all the small stuff, all understanding. So one of the things we want to incorporate, if you aren't already doing it, we want to incorporate mindfulness. And mindfulness is really just training your mind to stay in the present moment. It's not easy, but with practice, that's why I say practice mindfulness, it's possible. It's training your brain to let go of what has happened yesterday and moving too far in the future to worry about tomorrow. But it's like, I'm here. My mind is here. I'm going to be grateful for being here. I'm going to focus on being here. I'm going to make the most of being here. Wherever here is in the moment, be where your feet are. You know, like the sign in the mall, you are here, be there. By practicing mindfulness, we avoid dwelling on past regrets. We avoid worrying about the future. It's a powerful way to embrace what's happening here and now, and reducing the anxiety about the unknown. It's living life on the other side of fear, because that is where life is happening in the here and now. So if you are not already doing so, or if you found yourself laxed in doing so, I want to encourage you to go back and incorporate practicing mindfulness. And if you're not sure how to do that, I promise you, Uncle Google and Professor YouTube have plenty of resources for you. Another way we can avoid sweating the small stuff and focus on the significant matters of life is to set realistic expectations. You see, sometimes we sweat the small stuff because our expectations are so high. Now, I'm not talking about faith, because faith is in God. Our expectations are in ourselves, what we're capable of doing. But when we focus on our faith instead of our expectations that we've set so high, then we realize that we ain't got to worry about the small stuff. We ain't got to sweat it, because God got it. Because He can do anything and everything but fail. But we, on the other hand, that's another story. And so we set these expectations so high that sometimes we just set ourselves up to fail. So I don't know when the last time you have evaluated your expectations to see if they're realistic. But I want to tell you, like my daddy used to always say, girl, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Listen, you don't have to settle, but sometimes you got to bring it down, boo. You got to bring it down to avoid beating yourself up if things don't go exactly the way you planned. Because I promise you, they will go the way that God plans. And He's going to work it out, because He promised that He has a plan for us, a plan for a future, and a plan for a hope, a plan to succeed and not fail. So whose plan you want to roll with? Okay, well, as long as you're rolling with yours, your expectations are going to need to be checked before your life is wrecked. I'm just saying, I ain't trying to be all up in your business. I'm just trying to give you ways to reduce the anxiety and the stress and the worrying, because you're focusing on and sweating the small stuff. Look at you, boo. You're dripping wet. Okay? Come on. Here, take this tissue. Wipe your face. Go. Wipe your face. And it's okay. It's okay. We all do it. But we don't have to keep doing it. Because if it ain't working, let's rework it. Okay? Let's face that giant, and then let's slay him. Because playtime is over. It's time to slay that giant. It's time to focus on what matters most. So how are we going to do it? Well, I've given you 2 ways. Practice mindfulness, set realistic expectations, and now I want to remind you, when it comes to the giant, choose yours wisely. In other words, choose your battles. Like, not everything, believe it or not everything requires your immediate attention. And nor does it require your reaction. See, we gotta learn to distinguish between what's worth our time and energy and what's not. And then we gotta learn to reserve our efforts for what truly matters. Okay, you got cut off on the freeway today. But did you die? Did you survive? Yes, you did. So, why are you still talking about it 5 hours later? Oh, because you're sweating the small stuff instead of focusing on the fact that you didn't get hurt. No one got hurt. You're still good, and you're on your way to your destination. Reserve your effort, boo. Focus on what matters most. Okay, Let's move on. Let's move on because we got work to do. We got work to do, don't we? Yes, we do. But it's all good because we're giant slayers. We don't play, we slay. So let me give you another way to slay that giant that has you focusing on the small stuff and keeping you from being the best you that you can be. You've heard me say this one before on a whole lot of things. I'm going to say it again. Let go. Let go. Let go of control. Understand this. You can't control everything in life. So learn to let go. Learn to accept that some things, most things, practically everything outside of yourself is beyond your influence. And when we learn this lesson, it will alleviate the stress of trying to micromanage every detail that keeps us focusing on the small stuff. Let it go. Let it go. When we let it go, we can focus on what we have, we can focus on the positive aspects of life, and we can understand that gratitude is the attitude that reminds us of the bigger picture and the beautiful moment of now. So I know it sounds easy, but it's not. It requires work, but it's possible. And you are capable of doing the work. And you don't have to do the work alone. That's why I'm here, to support you along the way, from the small to the significant. As I remind you, my friend, you were born to win. I'm here to help you face your giant and then become a giant slayer. We do so by avoiding sweating the small stuff, practicing mindfulness, setting realistic expectations, choosing our battle, and understanding the value of gratitude as we learn to let go. You got this. You got this, my friend. When we stop sweating the small stuff, we regain our peace of mind. And there's nothing like peace. Life is full of delays. It's full of unforeseen obstacles. The only thing you and I have control over is not what happens, but how we respond to it. Let your response reroute you to the other side of fear, where you can find peace and happiness on the journey. Life is too short to focus on the small stuff. Stay focused on your passion. They define your life's purpose. Don't let the small stuff overshadow the beauty of life's big moments. Embrace the journey, for it's the path that leads to what matters most. And always remember, it's the moments with loved ones that truly matter. I'm rooting for you, my friend. You are so much bigger than the small things in life. And what God has for you is truly bigger than the small things we focus on at times. Keep your eyes on the prize, because it's waiting for you, my friend. Because in the end, you win. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Time to Win podcast. It is always such a pleasure to meet with you here in the locker room of life. Remember, you were born to win. It's in your DNA. Don't sweat the small stuff. You're too big for that. So let's go, Giant Slayer. Let's go fight win. We'll catch you again next week, right here in the locker room of life on Time to Win podcast. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Time to Win. I recognize that you appreciate the value provided in today's episode, and for your gratitude, I'm giving you a Time to Win VIP listener badge. So head on over to timetowinpodcast.com. That's timetowinpodcast.com and claim your badge and gain immediate VIP access to more of our next level resources and opportunities, including details on the huddle, a table for 10, the Cure Circle, and the Cure Retreat. Because you've enjoyed today's session, you can also express your gratitude by rating, reviewing, and returning next week with a friend. Oh, by the way, be sure to screenshot today's episode and share it in your Instagram and Facebook story or on your favorite social media platform. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week in the locker room of life, here on Time to Win. And remember, the best time to win is now.